It's the Full Court Press with Eric Frandsen and Jason Walker.
Welcome back to the to the show that we're doing right now.
Following the local teams, breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews.
There's going to be much higher expectations, sense of awareness of what we bring to the table.
Join the show by calling into 435-752-1069 or text 435-339-0321. It's the Full Court Press.
Throws, ends up, yes! Caught! Touchdown! They did it!
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Full Court Press, second hour. Jason Walker, Eric Frandsen, and a happy Halloween to everyone. Nice October 31st. I heard somebody say they'd wish Halloween would just be moved to the last Friday or Saturday of October instead of exclusively on October 31st.
Nah.
It's
October 31st.
Yeah. It's just kind of weird. But with it's a kid holiday, you like to have parties.
I mean, I get the reasons, but are we going to say the same thing about other holidays? Christmas, just make it
Well, everyone gets Christmas off.
Make it a Sunday. Always make it a Sunday.
Pretty much everyone gets Christmas off. Sometimes you don't always get the tricky one is Thanksgiving, where it's on a Thursday. It's like always on a Thursday.
It's always on a Thursday.
But there's always that Friday, and it's like sometimes you get that Friday off, sometimes you don't. It can be tricky. So,
yeah.
But
Halloween is October 31st.
Yeah, for me, I don't celebrate that hard, so I don't really care.
Yeah.
There's some people that do, and yeah, it's a problem.
It's not a bad thing that occasionally you have a Halloween on a school night where you shouldn't be out that late and you got to get back to school. Don't go all crazy doing crazy shenanigans late into the night.
And most trick-or-treating is going to take place in the early afternoon. Like, right. Some parents are going out right now.
Yeah, some kids are already out there.
Just get it done before dark. And the teenagers are doing it as it's dark.
Yes.
All that fun stuff. So I wanted to talk about the Utah Jazz. Mentioned them earlier. They played the Denver Nuggets last night, October 30th. The Nuggets were undefeated and stayed undefeated. They hadn't really had any trouble with too many teams, had a little bit of trouble with Memphis, and well, for a little bit, we're having some trouble with the Jazz. The Jazz actually outscoring Denver in both the third and fourth quarter. Not by a ton, but we're outplaying them for a decent part of that second half. Made it close at a couple of points, but ultimately the Nuggets prevailing 110-102. Not a ton of trouble in the end, but for moments, that's kind of what you were at least hoping to see. If you weren't going to see a win from the Jazz, you're hoping to see at least this competitiveness from them.
Yeah, I mean, they're down 13 at half. Early in the third quarter, they're down by 17, and it's like, here we go again. This is another game like Phoenix and Sacramento. But the Jazz dug in, and they kept fighting. And it looked like Denver was kind of going into this coast mode a little bit. Jokic was pulled and sat for long stretches in the second half. But the Jazz kept fighting, and they kept attacking. And Colin Sexton had some big shots in the second half. Kessler, Markkanen, they had some big shots and big rebounds and putbacks. Talen Horton-Tucker, one of his better games that we've seen so far this season, got it within 5. Actually got it within 5 twice, because he got it within 5, then all of a sudden like that, it was back up to 11. But they weren't deterred. They kept fighting, and they got back into it and had a chance to get it back into single digits and competitive in the final minutes, just had some shots that didn't go in. So I was impressed to see what Utah did and how they fought in that second half when it looked like early on it really wasn't going their way, and it looked like how things were in Phoenix and against Sacramento. But pleasantly surprised by how the team kind of made some adjustments to make it more competitive.
And it was really nice that they got at least a little bit of better play from the guards. One thing I said is if the Jazz are going to win, they're going to have to get like one of those random 30-point games out of, Horton-Tucker, Clarkson, Colin Sexton. Pick one. Any one of them is capable of it. Anyone could have done it, but none of them did. Horton-Tucker, with the best of all those, you mentioned he had a decent game. 7 of 12 shooting, 16 points. Finally getting some of that offense going. Something that I again pointed out yesterday is that that collection of guards, Dunn, Tucker, Sexton, and Clarkson, they were accounting for 41% of Utah's field goal attempts and were making 35%. Well, I said Horton Tucker goes 7 of 12. Clarkson did go 2 of 10. But Clarkson goes 5 of 10. So, two of those guards having good shooting days. Not just average, but good. Getting out there, making shots. They went 5 of 8 from 3. So they were at least making some shots, and it showed. When they were able to make their shots, these guys take a bunch of them. They take a bunch of the Jazz's shots, so when they go in a little bit more often, they're going to have a chance to win. So you like what you see there. A big frustration point of this early season has been those guards. Horton Tucker and Sexton have been – they're getting a lot of hate on social media and from fans because they're frustrated with those guys' performance. When this is the year for those guys to break out and perform, but they haven't been doing so. But you got a little bit, better from them in this game and against a good opponent. So it's a nice sign there.
Yeah. So it was a struggle for Keontae George to get some offense going, but I thought he provided energy. He's this team overall not as good shooting the three as we've seen Jazz teams in the past. So it's something that they need to continue to work on in the gym. They were at 29.7% from three last night, which is not good by NBA standards. So that's something that they've got to improve upon. But also only 7 of 15 at the free throw line. So when you have chance for free points, man, you gotta do better than below 50%. I mean, so it's not a lot of free throws, but still, I mean, that's the shooting for this team. You can tell it's kind of a young, raw squad, and they've just got to spend a lot more time in the gym.
You feel like they should be getting maybe more, free throw attempts, but I mean, I guess Denver didn't really get all that much more. They only had 17 free throw attempts. But as far as Keontae George, I think for him, I liked what I saw as far as him getting to his shots. He just didn't make them. And maybe this was just a night where he's not going to make them. I don't think he's shot spectacularly so far this season as a rookie. But I have liked what he's seen. A lot of people are already clamoring for him to be starting, and I don't know if I'm on that. I like what I see out of Keontae George, and I don't like what I'm seeing out of some of the guards ahead of him. But I don't know if I'm on the let's definitely start Keontae now train yet. I feel like there's plenty of time for that, that boat to sail. Is you can wait to start Keontae George. There's no rush to start him. He's playing quality minutes. He's playing, he'll get in for multiple stretches, for decently long stretches. He'll be in the fourth quarter, usually early in the fourth quarter, because then the starters come back in to finish the game. So he's not finishing games, but he's playing crucial minutes. We don't need to rush this. It's not Taylor Hendricks, who's already been assigned to the G League. Yeah.
Because there's still some moments where Sexton is the spark plug, and he's the one that is making things happen. So they're still trying to find consistency. Really, is the bottom line.
Yeah.
And so it's still a bit of a battle as to what that pecking order is going to be. But at least I saw a competitive spirit and a competitive fight out of the Utah Jazz, where it could have gone the other way, like we saw in some of their other losses. So it's a loss, but it was competitive. They had fight in them, and look, they put up 14 more shots than Denver did. So a little better shooting percentage, better shot selection maybe, and very different outcome for the Utah Jazz. Because they got shots off, way more. I mean, that's not a small number. And in the course of a game, that makes a big difference.
Yeah, this was a game that maybe in a different universe with better performance, the Jazz could have won. Make a few more shots, better shot selection. A lot of that's falling on the guards who tend to have poor shot selection. But yeah, I really liked what I saw out of Walker Kessler, the fact that he was able to play more minutes. He's been held to 20 or so minutes in previous games, 29 minutes in this one. Goes out there, 22 points, 13 rebounds. Looking more like the Walker Kessler we got used to seeing last year.
And a block.
Yeah, and a block. It's below average for him. Scrub. He's got to average 2 blocks per game. But, yeah, and then you got another good performance out of Lauri Markkanen, 27 points. And John Collins settling into his rhythm of 15-ish points, 9-ish rebounds, which That's probably what he's going to be, good for this season. So he's settling into his groove, and we'll see how well this front court works going forward.
Yeah, and I like the versatility of Collins too, and that will continue to develop with this roster. But how he can be used on offense, how he can be used on defense, when you got some of the other guys that he can play alongside, the focus will be on Markkanen and to some degree Kessler, but Collins is kind of quietly out there. He's doing damage himself and playing some pretty good basketball. So it's kind of been fun to see how he's integrating into this system and how that's starting to come together. It's not there yet, but it has been kind of fun to see the potential of what that lineup can look like.
Yeah, it has been a struggle because you're getting the situation where Collins and Kessler and Markkanen, they're not playing as much together, and they need time to eventually be able to gel them together. And for now, they have to play them at different times. I guess just do what you got to do because it's resulting in Kessler playing a few minutes, Collins and Markkanen play more. They bring in Olynyk, and they like that Olynyk, Collins, Markkanen. Find a way to use that lineup as much as you need to, as you must. But eventually, Kessler's got to learn to work with Collins and Markkanen, or you got to move one of those three players. So, and I think maybe this game was a bit more of a good sign that maybe they can work together. I know they weren't playing all of their minutes all at the same time, but the fact they're all able to play consistent minutes in this game, get consistent production, it's a good sign.
Yeah. So, tough loss, but not one that I think we'd be surprised by. Jazz will pull up their schedule. I think they return home, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they take on got a couple of games here at home. They take on Memphis tomorrow, and then Orlando on Thursday before they have a long road trip through next week. But come home against a couple of teams that they should be competitive against and probably should be favored in both games.
Yeah, Memphis, I believe they're winless right now. They've really struggled. I believe they're without John Morant. So
yeah, he's still suspended.
Yeah, he's still suspended.
And Adams is hurt. He's out for, I think, the year.
Yeah, so they're right now they're in their vulnerable spot. So this is a good place to be able to play the Grizzlies. You play them at home. Like I said, they're winless. Then you got the Magic, who are young. They are talented, but they're not super great. So have a chance to play them at home, beat them, get some momentum, at least get one of these two. You don't want to go 0-2 against these guys. So win one of these games, get yourself some momentum, go into that, road trip. It's going to be tough. You got the Timberwolves and Bulls and Pacers and, the Grizzlies again. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be a brutal road trip because those teams are good, but not, the same as playing the Kings, Clippers, Suns, and Nuggets. But it's, it's on the road. So it's going to be that balance of not great teams, but 4 straight games on the road. So these next 2 games are going to be key to building up some momentum and, being able to figure out more about this team. Again, we talked about that front court where right now they're trying to figure out exactly how they're going to make having Markkanen, Collins, and Kessler all work on the same team. They start them right now. They don't always play them together a ton. Don't always have them finishing the game as a trio. And then trying to figure out what they have in the backcourt. Right now, they're sticking with Talen Horton-Tucker and Jordan Clarkson. They like the fit of Talen Horton-Tucker with Jordan Clarkson, and they like the fit of having Clarkson with Lauri Markkanen. They don't want to leave Markkanen on an island as a scorer on the team. They want to have a guy like Clarkson out there. So, but should Talen Horton-Tucker stay out there? Should they eventually put Keontae George in there? Those are the big questions. And I think, shifting to the front court, because there is a bit of a worry, and I think I dismissed this worry early on about Collins and Kessler fitting together. Because for me, I wasn't as worried because I thought, okay, Collins, he can stretch out to the 3-point line. But I think the biggest key is, because with Collins, you don't want to just relegate him to being a 3-point shooter. I think this is what I didn't account for. So that, okay, because Collins can shoot threes, that opens things up. But the thing is, John Collins is he's an amazing threat as a pick and roll target. Granted, the Jazz don't have many pick and roll guards. That's part of their problem. Is that Keontae George is basically the one guy who's able to run the pick and roll effectively, at least passing. The other guys can run pick and roll into an ISO, Taylor Horton Tucker can take a screen and then go to the basket, but that's all he does. He just goes to the basket. Clarkson is pretty similar. Keontae George, he actually threw a lob to one of his teammates last night. But the thing with Collins and Kessler is you have two pick-and-roll targets. When Walker Kessler does the pick-and-roll and he's rolling to the basket, you can create space by having John Collins in the corner. Well, what if John Collins does it? Well, Walker Kessler right now isn't a floor spacing center. So the thing is, a big key for this to work is Walker Kessler needs to be able to stretch the floor as a shooter. And he's starting to take threes. He's taken several threes this season. I think he's need to double check what it was. Last I checked, it was under 30%. I don't think he attempted one in the game the other day. So yeah, he's attempted 4. So about 1 per game this season. And he's made 1. So he needs to begin to develop that 3-point shooting. He needs to be able to be a viable shooter. He doesn't need to be an elite shooter. He doesn't need to be Kelly Olynyk. He needs to be able to shoot decently well, mid-30s, even low 30s might be passable, just enough that teams don't, just don't ignore him in the corner. If he's able to do that, this lineup works. Because otherwise, maybe John Collins can go sit in the corner as a shooter, but then you're wasting half of what makes him a really good offensive player, a really good offensive weapon. He's an elite pick-and-roll target. So the Jazz have some things to work out there. And that's part of why you bring in Kelly Olynyk with Markkanen and Collins. Because suddenly you have 2, elite pick-and-pop threats with Olynyk and Markkanen. You have a great pick-and-roll with John Collins. And Olynyk is also a really good passer. I don't think Kessler's ever going to be the passer Olynyk is, but maybe if he can learn some passing on the short roll. But if Kessler can learn to become a bit of a shooter, you can unlock the full potential of that front court. Because right now, they're trying to make things work. They're trying to have Kessler go out to the corner, shoot 1-3 per game if he gets left wide open there in the corner. He needs to become a viable shooter. That unlocks John Collins. That helps Lauri Markkanen. But, of course, the other aspect to this is where you get back to the front court, is you need someone who can take full advantage of John Collins as a pick-and-roll target. Walker Kessler as a pick-and-roll. Markkanen as both pick-and-roll and pick-and-pop. And the Jazz don't really have that. Keontae George, as I said, is the closest they come. Taylor Horton Tucker isn't doing it. Jordan Clarkson isn't doing it. Colin Sexton isn't doing it. So they need to find a way. If they're going to unlock this offense, it's going to continue to struggle. They're going to continue to struggle from 3. They're going to continue to just have their guards jack up a bunch of mid-range floaters. They're going to continue to have this until they find the right personnel, the right backcourt players that can, interlock effectively on offense with their front court players. They had that with Mike Conley last season. And it made the offense run so smoothly. Buttery smooth. This year, they just don't have it. And it's where you begin to wonder if they should accelerate Keontae George playing. I think they should start giving him more and more minutes. Right now he's sitting at 19.5. I don't know if you want to edge too far beyond that, too quickly. Because that's part of the thing. There's no reason to throw Keontae George in the fire right away. But playing him as much as you can without stretching his development too thin is the key here. I don't want to just throw Keontae George out there to start. There's no reason you need to. Play him off the bench. And if he's having a really good game, which he hasn't quite had that. He hasn't had that, breakout game. If he has that breakout game, have him close that game. Have him close instead of Taylor Horton Tucker or Jordan Clarkson. And when Keontae George starts to show that assertiveness of where he's dominating the game, right now he's showing flashes and he's showing potential and he's less frustrating at times than some of the other guards. But that's no reason to rush him in there and say, all right, start, the pressure's on you now, good luck. I wouldn't I just don't want to see them rush Keontae George in there when they don't need to. People are freaking out, acting like, throw Keontae George in, that's going to solve the Jazz's problems. It won't. Because Keontae George isn't ready to solve all their problems. It was like last year. Walker Kessler, he was showing flashes. They didn't need to start him. And then they didn't. And then he was too good to avoid starting. Or to keep him on the bench. So they started him. And that's what they need to do with Keontae George. I know a lot of people really want to see him start. And I do too. I do want to see him start. But I'm not rushing to that point. Don't need to rush to it and say, all right, he has to start now. If he doesn't start until after the All-Star break, what's lost? How many games are the Jazz losing because they don't start Keontae George? There hasn't been one yet. And I don't think there's going to be one. So, for now, let Keontae come off the bench. Let him ease into this role. When he has an elite game, have him close. When he's struggling a bit, he was struggling a little bit against Denver. So maybe don't play him toward the end. Sit him down, coach him, watch the film, go over it. But maybe one of these games against Memphis or Orlando absolutely pops off. Well, have him close the game. Have him lead the team. Give him those moments. Let him feel what it's like to be on fire and be the leader of the team on offense. And then maybe if the next game he has a bad game, well, we'll work on that. So that's kind of the state of the Jazz right now. By the way, if you didn't notice, Eric Frandsen took his leave. He's heading up to Utah State football practice. He's going to get some audio from players. They will have a chance to play tomorrow. He didn't mention what players he was going to talk to. I forgot to ask. But we'll have that audio tomorrow on the Full Court Press. We're going to take a break, and on the other side, mentioned we had a chance to talk with Green Canyon girls tennis. I keep wanting to say like girls soccer or girls volleyball. There's girls tennis. Camille Jeppson, the head coach of that team, they won their third consecutive girls tennis 4A title. So we'll have that interview coming up next here on the Full Court Press.
Clean it up and get it out this fall.
Don't wait another winter. Let DD Auto and Salvage pay you for that junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it so easy and fast to get rid of your junker vehicles by paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. If you have metal, DD Auto and Salvage in Logan want to pay you today. Search DD Auto and Salvage today or call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
See store for details.
Adams Wealth Advisors is proud to announce that they've been named as one of the best financial advisory firms in the country by USA Today. Start maximizing your wealth potential with a team of experienced advisors who specialize in working with high net worth individuals. Let Adams Wealth Advisors help you achieve your financial goals with a personalized approach to investment management and planning. For more information on how Adams Wealth Advisors can help you achieve your financial goals, go to adamswealthadvisors.com. That's adamswealthadvisors.com.
Prodigy Brewing is celebrating fall in the air. Kids are back in school, USU students are on campus, and weekends are for football. At Prodigy Brewing, you'll find something to satisfy everyone's tastes. Juicy burgers, sizzling wood fire pizzas, tasty salads, and a kids menu.
Alrighty, here's your cheeseburger. Enjoy.
Thank you, Cache Valley, for voting Prodigy Brewing the best bar and grill and best craft beer in northern Utah. Beer. Prodigy Brewing on Center Street in downtown Logan. Extraordinary service and family friendly.
Check out the new Liberty Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in beautiful Montpelier, Idaho. We've got friendly staff, great service, fresh inventory, and the same values you expect in a small town. Montpelier, Idaho, a small town with great people to serve you, the people of Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. You can now see most inventory online too at libertycdjr.com. We're the new Liberty Chrysler Dodge Jeep and Ram in Montpelier with warranty forever.
Are you a business owner or HR director that's frustrated with your current employee benefits? If you are confused about coverages and can't get a hold of your agent, it's time for a change. This is Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits. As an independent agency, we will give you options. Let us give your benefits package a fresh look. Call Quality First Insurance and Alera Benefits today, 435-752-0101.
The Aggies are #1 here. The Full Court Press. Connect with us on Facebook, Twitter, and online at 1069thefan.com.
Hello and welcome back to the Full Court Press. Jason Walker with Eric Frandsen. Glad to have you on, and one of the things we always love to have is to have a chance to talk with local state champions of high school sports. Well, heck, we even talk to world champions at times from around here.
That's true. It's happened.
But we have another state champion, head coach, the girls tennis coach for Green Canyon High School, and also the boys tennis coach, Camille Jeppson. The Green Canyon girls team just won their 3rd straight state title, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct, yes.
So it's
pretty exciting.
I had a chance to talk to you last year when you went back-to-back, ended up writing a feature for Cache Valley Daily, and got you back on, have a chance to talk to you again after another successful season. So very nice to have you on.
Thank you.
So let's start with that. 3 times, at least for you, state champion as a coach. I guess just what's that like? Whereas I guess you're suffering from success. What are we at here?
It's a little unbelievable, really, for us thinking about it. Even when we got our first win, we were completely shocked that we got that first state championship, and by such a huge margin that first year, and then to do it again the second year, another huge margin to win the state championship. And then to get it a third time, I really, we as a coaching staff weren't expecting, we weren't like thinking we could do it for sure. We knew this year was going to be much tougher with the double in size, the class of 4A doubled in size. And so we knew we would really have to work hard and get a lot of good competition leading up to the state tournament.
So just tell us about that margin, because you mentioned it was huge margins those first couple of years. I mean, you would go into the final championship rounds knowing you'd already won the title.
Yes.
This year, I believe the final point tally was something like 52 for you guys and like 48 for Orem. So,
yes.
How close was that? Were you pretty comfortably going to win it going into those finals?
No. We went into the second day with all of our players into the semis, but Orem also had all of their players in the semis. We weren't playing them in all our events like we did like in previous years, so we were able to knock off other teams. But this year, where we only played them in, I believe, just 2 of the 5, maybe 3 of the 5 rounds, and so it was much, much closer. Going into our final match, we were down by 1 point to Orem, but we weren't playing Orem. So pretty much, if we won, we win. If we lose, Orem wins. So it depended on that. But we weren't looking at that closely because we knew it was so close. I was more just focusing on the girls and getting them as far into the tournament as we could, wanting them just to play their absolute best that they could, which would make the difference in the end. And that's what it did.
So when it comes to winning a state title as a team in tennis, it's interesting that, as a sport, and maybe to describe this for me and for others who maybe not understand how the scoring really works like that, because in football, for example, or basketball, you see the team together competing together in their sport. Tennis, it's a bunch of individuals,
right?
But how they do collectively makes a big difference. Obviously, you've got some doubles and you've got some team aspect there, but it's not just how one player performs; it's how everybody performs.
Yes, it's definitely a team effort to win, but it is by individual. So for each round you win, you get 1 point. So if you win your first round, you get 1 point as an individual, but that 1 point goes towards your team total. But then you also advance as an individual in your own bracket. And then if you win your second round, you get 2 points towards the team total. And then the third round, 3 points, 4 points, and so on. So there's a total you can get 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 if you win the title in that final round. So it was close going into it.
So it's possible, conceivable, to have an individual tennis player play through and win their individual bracket, if you will.
Yes.
But the team not necessarily win state.
Right. There's 5 events. So even if just one team wins, or one player wins their event, that's definitely not enough. You definitely have to have your whole team advancing together, especially where we have such good players now, especially in our 4A class.
So you guys had 2, I should say 3 champions, because you had one first doubles. You got a championship there, right? Or was I looking at the wrong result? I'm trying to think. I was trying to look this up.
Yes, first doubles.
So it was Carly Nielsen, Liz Murray, right?
Yes.
And then third singles, Macy Hewish.
Yes.
You got that right? And then
And
Tori Jeppson, your daughter, she was a runner-up in second singles.
Yes.
So several players in the championship. Get a couple of champions. I guess 3 champions with one being doubles. So, good little return there.
Yes, getting those 3 into the championship bracket, those championship rounds made a big difference in our score. Tori played a really tough match at that second singles. Her opponent was really, really good. Tori had a few chances to pull away and just couldn't do it. And then our first doubles actually played Crimson Cliffs in the final, played them down in St. George at an invitational, beat them in a tiebreaker their first time, and then had to play them again the next day and lost badly the next day to Crimson. So then to come back and play them in the championship at the state tournament and to beat them soundly in that second set it was so great. It was so great. And Macy Hewish at third singles, she just went crazy the whole season. Just stormed all the way through, every one of her matches. Skyridge, the 6A school, did give her a run. The 3 times that she did have to play Skyridge, she's a very good player at Skyridge, and beat Macy in those. But Macy had no troubles with any of her other opponents. She's just such a steady player, especially at that third singles position. That's what that takes.
So you've kind of been talking about another question that I had here, and that is you've said third singles. There's first singles, second singles. And similarly with doubles as well. Is that correct? Mm-hmm. So what's the difference between first singles through third singles and et cetera like that? Is it just your better players are in your first, in your next group, or in your second? How does that classification work?
Yes, that's how the singles will stack up. Your best player plays 1, then your next best would play 2. But at the same time, you can have your best player play first doubles as well. As long as your best player is at one of the number 1 positions, you can do that. But then for doubles, it's all about chemistry and movement together and, getting along on the court and communication on the court. So those doubles teams, they work hard together to learn each other's moves and tactics, and just being able to feel what the other one is feeling and just being able to get along on the court. The singles players, it starts with probably our most consistent, most powerful, and Bailey. Bailey's definitely our number 1. She won state as a freshman, played great, and is still playing really good tennis. So yeah, that's how the lineup goes.
So tell me about from last year you win the title to this year. What were some of the players you replaced? I know some of them came back. You had probably, I think, several come back. I know Tori, I think she played doubles last year, didn't she?
Yes, Tori played first doubles last year with Olivia Phillips, who was a senior. So we had a senior and a freshman last year together at that first double spot. But their chemistry was just so on. They played really well together. Just 2 really strong players playing together. And then so then we lost Olivia Phillips this year. So, had to create a new doubles team there. So we actually pulled our 2 singles players from last year and put them into our 2 doubles positions this year. And it was questionable in the beginning, but it definitely worked. And then at second doubles, we lost Marin McKenna, who was just a very strong leader on the court, who played with Carly Nielsen. And then we bumped Carly up to first doubles. And, she just got better and better as the year progressed. And just her and Liz, they just really clicked as the season went. So.
Yeah, we're talking to Camille Jeppson. She is the head coach for the Green Canyon girls tennis team. multiple state championships under your belt. So what does that take to do that? I know you've got some talented players that come back, as you've just been talking about, that have experienced that. They know what it takes for the dedication, the hard work in the off season to come together and do another tough run. But you always have to develop new players coming in. So what's that process been like for Green Canyon, kind of developing this string of successes?
Tennis is a sport where you pretty much have to develop on your own in the off season. So our players do a lot of training in the off season. I know Bailey travels extensively to tournaments all over the place to just up her game. Tori Macy, the twins, they were always playing year round to just get better and better, more consistent. So it's an ongoing process that you can't work out as a team year round because it is such an individual sport as well. But at the same time, they got to be playing doubles just in case they're playing doubles. And they don't know who they're going to be playing doubles with. So as long as they are practicing doubles, you can adapt to new partners, whoever you need to play with. So it's a lot of work in the off season. I know Tori does a lot of work in the off season, just being her mom. So
I want to ask you about coaching, specifically, at the state championships. What's that like? Running from match to match, coaching all the players. Coaching your daughters, getting all the way to the championship game. Like, what's running around and trying to coach like for you?
I have a phenomenal coaching staff. I also, I've coached with John Mickelson since we started Green Canyon, boys and girls, and then Holly Hickman is also with us. She's been one of the coaches as well. We've kind of traded off being the head coach between the three of us. We kind of just rotate in a circle. And then we also brought on Ben Hubner, who just knows so much about all the players because Bailey, his daughter, has played them all. So he knows, who do we need to watch out for, how we need to work, what the strengths are, weaknesses are, what we can expose. So he was really great and just a new face on the court for us. So it was great having him there as well. And a lot of the girls can relate better with certain coaches. So that was, between the four of us, we pretty much had everybody covered. So that was really nice. I really appreciate them and all they did.
So you have to draw straws when it comes down to those final few brackets, who's going where?
It's pretty easy. It's like, Ben, you've got her. John, you've got them. Holly, them. So it was.
Because you've already kind of been aligned as the season has gone on.
Yep, and they're great. They'll go wherever I tell them to, which is great.
So I guess at the state tournament, it being pretty close. I guess tell me about the moment. You knew you won because last year it was like you went home after before the last day. And he's like, we're already champions.
Oh, I went home. Holly and I went to the hotel and dyed our hair pink. We were good. We were ready to go. But
yeah, this year I imagine it took a little bit further into championship day.
It was the last match that was on the court, and it was the first doubles team. So it was Carly and Liz, and they didn't know it was coming down to the winner of that match, and we weren't going to tell them, and. So, John was coaching them, and it was they had a really close first set, barely pulled it out in the tiebreaker, and then that second set, they just felt it and just played so clean and confident, went for balls that they knew they could get, just really stretched themselves to play their absolute best. And so as soon as that match point was over, they went and shook hands, and I could hear the girls kind of behind me, can we go yet? Can we go? And then finally I said, yep, go. And they just stormed them out there. And you could see, I have a picture when the other girls told Carly and Liz that because of them we won. And their faces are just lit up. So it was pretty exciting. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what sometimes coaches and players, they get together, parents and other support staff, do something to celebrate. Did you guys have a moment to celebrate and let it soak in or be with other people? Or is it just... good job, and now it's on to the next?
We're always celebrating. We have a great group of parents that support this team all the way through, from varsity, JV, practice squad. We've got some really supportive parents. So with every tournament we went to this year. We played in some really good tournaments where we played the 6As and the 5As leading up to state. We didn't win them all, but we got some really good competition, and they were all so supportive of those. It's right when that match ends, we're all just getting goosebumps, everywhere, because everybody stays to watch and support. So it's always a fun night, after we win.
So you're going to have to gather with all the other, Green Canyon coaches because you got, girls soccer winning, volleyball, they are runner-up. I mean, football's still alive. You're going to have to get together and celebrate some Green Canyon dominance over fall sports.
We've realized that all the girls' teams won region from Green Canyon this year.
That's true.
Yeah, so it was pretty exciting just to think about that and how we're coming along. So these boys better.
The boys got to keep it up.
We got to get these boys ready.
The boys soccer team kept up. They won their title last year.
They did. And so the cross. Yep, the cross did as well.
We'll figure that out. So I guess just we've talked about how you've developed a program so far. I guess you pull it off again. That's always the question. Can you do it next year? The answer so far has been yes for 3 years, but I don't know what's the future hold for the program.
So far, I lose 4 seniors this year. And so 3 were on varsity, so that'll definitely hurt. I do have some up and comings that are right there. They're really solid players. They play a lot. They know there's a chance for them to move into these spots, so they are working hard. So it'll be tough. It'll be tougher because they're young. So it'll be fun to see.
Well, Coach, thank you so much for spending some time with us. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
It's always exciting and exhilarating to win those. Oh, I was just going to ask you, we had the chance to ask this of another Green Canyon coach who was in here with us recently, just that experience of coaching your own child through this experience. You have to be a good coach, but you're also a parent. So how do you balance that? How challenging is that for you?
It's tough because you want them to be their absolute best, and you know what they have in them and how far they can go, and so but you do have to watch yourself at the same time. But you still push them, and you use your assistants to help push them, and that makes a big difference. But it's so rewarding when it's your kids out there, performing so well, and I got one in the boys again too, so we'll keep going there.
Always parent, always coach.
That's right. That's right.
All right, Green Canyon girls tennis coach and boys tennis coach, Camille Jeppson. Glad to have you on.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and go to break. We'll be back after this on the Full Court Press.
For more than a century, couples have shopped at S.C. Needham Jewelers. Known for a large selection of beautiful diamonds, we now have both natural and lab-grown diamonds. You're sure to find a diamond engagement ring that will fit your budget. The possibilities today are endless as you select the perfect ring. Show her you'll cherish her forever with a diamond, either natural or lab-grown, from the store where Utah gets engaged. S.C. Needham Jewelers, middle of the block, at the sign of the clock.
Fall is here. This is Mark at the Sportsman on Main Street. I invite you into our amazing store to see the new fall collection of amazing clothing, shoes, and outerwear for women and men. We have brands like Cool, Fiore, Fjallraven, and we have brought in some new brands from Europe that you will love. Trust me, you will look truly unique in whatever you buy from the Sportsman. Come in and let us take care of you. You'll be glad you did. For over 75 years, come and see us at the Sportsman on Main in downtown Logan with tons of parking in the back.
Aegis Home Health and Hospice is your premier healthcare provider. When your loved one needs care, at home, wherever home is, allow Aegis Home Health and Hospice to help. I'm Josh Fenton, part of the Aegis team, where we customize healthcare for optimal results. Our award-winning staff brings character, experience, and trust. Contact us today and see why we were voted best of Northern Utah. Call 435-723-9000 or visit our website at myaegis.com.
Here's Chad, the lawn doctor, with a fall tip for your yard.
With a cooler summer and rain in the fall, lawns are looking good. Don't skip the last fertilizer application of the season. In fact, the fall application may be the most important of all. It's the one that gets your lawn through the winter and off to a great start in the spring. Call the lawn doctor at 753-LAWN and let's get your winter fertilizer application scheduled.
For a better looking lawn next spring, call Lawn Doctor for your last lawn treatment of the season. Call 753-LAWN or go to LawnDoctorCashValley.com.
JM Mechanical has moved to a new location, 222 West 2850 North, Suite A, North Logan, just north of Airport Road. Be sure to stop in for all questions and to purchase filters. Fall temperatures are here and your heating system needs to be dusted off. JM Mechanical knows how to fix, tune up, or replace every type of heating brand. Fast 24-hour heating service is available in Box Elder, Cache, and Franklin counties with a 100% satisfaction guarantee and upfront pricing. Call JM Mechanical at 563-6267. That's 563-6267.
Sunday on the Las Vegas Raiders Radio Network, the Silver and Black play host to the New York Giants. Hi, this is Tim Cates. Join Jason Horowitz and Lincoln Kennedy for all the action. After a Monday night loss in Detroit, Jimmy Garoppolo and the Raiders are looking to get back on track against the 2-win New York Giants, who are hoping to get a spark with the return of quarterback Daniel Jones. It's the Raiders and Giants from Las Vegas. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
Kickoff begins at 2:25 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Interviews, analysis, and a little bit of fun mixed in. The Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
Welcome back to the Full Court Press. Jason Walker here with you, Eric Frandsen. As mentioned a little bit ago, he had to sneak out. He's off to Utah State football practice. Likely they're now likely conducting his interviews with Utah State football players. We'll have that for you tomorrow. Wanted to talk about, first off, earlier this hour, the first college football playoff rankings have now been released. So we have the four playoff teams. As of now, it would be number 1, Ohio State, number 2, Georgia, number 3, Michigan, and number 4, Florida State. And just on the outside looking in, number 5, Washington, number 6, Oregon, number 7, Texas, number 8, Alabama, number 9, Oklahoma, and number 10, Ole Miss. So few teams on the outside looking in. From a Mountain West perspective, you'd have to take a look at Air Force, who just snuck into the edge there. They're 19th in the AP poll, but they're 25th in the college football playoff rankings. According to the AP poll, they would be the favorite, and kind of had been the favorite, to be in a New Year's Six Bowl as the Group of 5 invite, the highest ranked Group of 5 team. But in these first rankings, they are not the highest ranked G5 team. That would be Tulane, who was ranked, I think, 22nd in the AP poll, but is 24th in these college football playoff rankings. So for Air Force, the work is not done. They will need to leapfrog Tulane, either by Tulane losing or Air Force just being more impressive later in the season. But if the Falcons want to get to a New Year's Six Bowl, if the Mountain West is going to have a representative in a New Year's Six Bowl, we're going to have to see more done from Air Force. Want to mention that. It's going to be a bit of a quick segment because we've actually got to take another break. Hate to do this to you guys, but we're going to take another break. Stay on schedule. We're really glad that we could have Camille Jeppson on the show. Great to have her. We were a bit late. We should have had her on earlier. I'd kind of forgotten to check girls tennis. I hadn't followed it as closely as I had soccer and some of these other team sports. But we're glad to have them. And we like to try and have every single high school champion on, at least that we're aware of, from any of the teams in Region 11. Sometimes they slip our minds. And I should thank Kurt Sadler, actually, because we had him on, and he reminded me, told me about Camille Jeppson and them winning tennis. So glad to have her on, be able to talk about their team's success, which obviously this year they win a championship, but they're 3 years running the champions of 4A girls tennis. So congratulations to them. We're going to take another break. On the other side, we'll talk about the NIT, changes that have gone on in the NIT that are going to affect mid-major programs. We'll have that coming up next on the Full Court Press.
You can feel the holidays are near. Get your appliances repaired and ready. This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Save $15 off your appliance repair for a limited time. Find the coupon on our website. Did you know Daryl's service is risk-free? If you decide to buy new, instead, you can apply your service call to your purchase. Only at Daryl's. See store for details. Get the best in appliance repair at Daryl's, your first and last call. Find us west on Airport Road. Open until 6 p.m. on weekdays, 5 on Saturday.
Hey, this is Jarek with Jarek's Fine Jewelry. This October marks our 15th year anniversary. So to celebrate, we want to treat you to an anniversary date. Make it a date night on us. Come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping at Jarek's Fine Jewelry. We have thousands of designs to choose from, including the newest custom designs. With no strings attached and no purchase necessary, we will buy you a sweet treat at Yumberry. The entire month of October, come engagement ring or anniversary ring shopping, and Yumberry is on us. Make date night special. Make it Jarek's.
This is Ryan, My Mattress. Thanks to you, we're the #1 purple mattress dealer in northern Utah. But there's a store down in Ogden that we're neck and neck with. I'll make you a deal. If you buy a purple mattress today, I will sell it to you for less than anyone in the country. That includes online or any store, plus you get to lay on it and try it out. You've got to come in today to either of our Cache Valley locations, North Store by Red Balloon Toys and South Store by Big 5 Sports. Come buy a purple mattress for lower than anywhere in the country. Isn't it time to sleep exceptionally? Only at My Mattress.
Holiday parties and events at the Riverwoods Conference Center offer a festive and fun holiday atmosphere. Paired with catering from Elements Restaurant, your special occasion can include tasty hors d'oeuvres, delicious entrees, and decadent desserts that always deliver excellence. Now accepting reservations for this holiday season. The Riverwoods Conference Center and Elements Restaurant easily accommodate large or small events. Visit theriverwoods.com or call 750-5151.
The advocates care about your cycling accident and have attorneys who are fellow riders. They understand the risks you face when you ride, and they want to see you get back on your bike and out on the road. If you were hit while enjoying a leisurely ride or training for the next big cycling race, the Advocates Injury Attorneys can help. We are available 24/7 and we don't get paid unless we win your case. Chat anytime at utahadvocates.com or call 801-355-5550 today. Cyclists deserve an advocate.
It's the Full Court Press, weekday afternoons from 4 to 6 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Your local Napa Auto Parts has what you need to have your car ready for winter. Get more cranking power with the Napa Legend or AAA battery. You can save on silicone wiper blades from Trico, Rain-X. Clean your fuel injectors, carburetors, and help your entire fuel system run smoother and last long with BG and Seafoam motor treatment. Diesel additives from Howes, Power Service, Schaefer's, Standardine. Napa Auto Parts, ready to help at your 5 locally owned Preston to Providence locations. So I want to finish out the show with, I don't know if this is going to qualify as a rant, but news coming out, I think it was late last week, early this week. I forget exactly when this came out. It was about 4 days ago. So late last week. That there were changes being made to the NIT. Some of the dumbest changes that could have been made, but they make sense given the landscape of college basketball. Teams in power conferences want to, make more money, maybe get more opportunities. Or more likely the NIT is trying to force more, Power 6 or major conference teams into the NIT. How it used to be, or largely what it was, is that, if you won your conference regular season, title, and you didn't make it into the NCAA tournament, largely because, you would have lost your conference tournament and you weren't in a good enough conference that winning the regular season title is good enough to get you in on reputation alone. Like most, major conferences and even a couple of mid-major conferences, if you win the regular season title, you're probably going to get in. But for a lot of, conferences, and Utah State has certainly experienced this in the Big West and the WAC, where winning your regular season title wasn't enough. You wouldn't get in if you didn't win the conference tournament. But, a consolation was being able to get into the NIT, and if you won that regular season title but didn't make it into the tournament, you were guaranteed a spot in the NIT. Such is no longer the case. Moving forward, the NIT will be guaranteeing 2 teams from each of these 6 major conferences, the ACC, Big East, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, SEC. The 2 teams that will be guaranteed are the top 2 teams in the NET rankings that do not qualify for the NCAA tournament. So, excluding teams from any of these major conferences that make the tournament, basically the next 2 by NET ranking will receive an automatic qualification to the NIT and be guaranteed the chance to host an NET game. And it's just blatant pandering to these big conferences. It's trying to force these teams in more like force out mid-major teams. You're going to have mid-major teams that get robbed of a chance to make the NCAA tournament, and then they're robbed of a chance to make a fun NIT run. All because NIT executives want to try and get more eyeballs on big-name programs, most of whom don't even want to be there. But that's what we're going to get. We're going to get more 500, even below 500 teams from major conferences in the NIT. When they don't belong, you're going to hurt other teams. Anyway, that'll do it for us today. Thank you so much for listening.